Good morning. I am Sam McDonough, IFBB Bikini Pro, and today we are going to talk about the World Monsterzym Korea Pro. Let me pull up the scorecards, which I have not done yet. Oh my god, the lighting on this! I look like a religious rendering, like an oil painting where my face is glowing. Okay, so if we look at the results for this show. Then we saw that congratulations, Mengru won, which good for her. She has been second place a few times, so she finally got that Olympia qualification, so I'm thrilled for her. Okay, so it was a perfect score for her to win. Asong Moon got second place, perfect score for her. And then there was some debate between Vicki and Jibin, and then 15 points for, oh wait, who's that? Fourth place, yeah, Jibin. Okay, Amanda got 15 points. Okay, cool. So yeah, the tightest race was between Vicki and Jibin, and everyone else. It was everyone was pretty much separated by 3 points, so they were pretty much in those spots solidly. Okay, so let's look at these. I mean, just look at this top four comparison. This is a gorgeous lineup. like Wow, I want to do one of these shows in Asia. The lighting is so pretty. Okay, so let's pull everyone up. And I'll pull up through, I'm just gonna pull up through fifth place. I'm tempted to pull up Valyriia, and I mean, I'll just pull up Valyriia. Because Valyriia she looks like a model. So she's won first place a million times. She's under a couple different names on NPC's site, so I'm not gonna go find her other name, but she's gotten first place a bunch of times. I think she probably won her pro debut or something. But Valyriia looked incredible. She looks otherworldly. She looks like what a siren is in fantasy writing, like the sirens who are those mermaid seemingly people who draw you in with their vocals, and then you get there and they're hideous when you get there, but this is the beauty that sailors think they are going to come across when they see them from a distance and hear their music. Yeah, she's just gorgeous. The thing with Valyriia, so I said she could land anywhere in the top five or not place at all. Just way too tight. So you can see that here in her legs. What Valyriia needs to do, and I don't think she'll do this. I mean, she has said pretty openly that she's going to come in how she wants to come in. And she doesn't like getting fat, I think is what she said. This is amazing, but her upper body is way more dominant to her lower body. So what she would need is a significant period of growing for her glutes to then match her legs. Her legs probably have enough size. It's just the glutes that are lacking. So more size in the glutes, she could win an Olympia, and if she came in with the right conditioning that they want, but I don't think that's gonna happen. So okay, let's get into our top five. Okay, so Mengru won. Should I pull up the comparisons first? Let's pull up comparisons and I'll tell you what my first thoughts are. So I'm gonna go to the top four let's see where top five is. So are these initial looks? Okay. Okay, yeah. This is top five, I believe, because who got fifth place? Is that what she looks like? No, okay, Amanda. Oh, I know what Amanda looks like, so I don't know why I thought that. Okay. So, that must have been organized by last name. Okay, let's pull up these photos. Whatever. Okay, we are just gonna go over top four. So, here is top four. And what stands out to me when I see top four? So let's pretend I'm a judge. When I see top four, first thing I think is leaning over, losing hourglass shape, glute sloping off, so it's not matching the upper body. Really great balance here, but waist looks a little wide. And then conditioning looks spot on, maybe a little fuller on the bottom, but gives me the best overall bikini shape and bikini look. That's what I think when I look at the first, when I look at them. Look at the top four. Okay, and when I look at the top four in their back, so, okay, if I looked at this first place, this photo, I would be thinking it's between these two, and not just because of how they're situated, but because of the other things I said. But I think that Mengru has the most complete look. She looks the fullest. So I would lean towards her, but Asong has all of the makings, just probably needs a little more fullness, and this glute is sloping off a little bit. So I noticed that too. So I would probably have 1, 2, 3, 4. And I know, there might be some hindsight bias in there, but I think that what's separating. So why do I choose 1 and 2? Okay. I choose her as 1 because she's the fullest, has great balance. There's a little imbalance between the upper and lower body. Like, this leg looks a little thick, but she does have similar fullness, like, in her back and, like, chest almost, too. So yeah, like, that's the only thing I can take away from her. But everything else is perfect. I would lower that arm, but those are the things that I think. Asong, the waist is so straight on that I am not getting hourglass. So I'm getting the most hourglass from Mengru. Also, the arm is looking she looks a little bit depleted. So that's also why I have her in second. And then when I look at third and fourth place, Vicky's pose is just off to me. It looks like we don't have the same fullness in her lower body that we have in the upper body, and she's tilted forward, which takes away from her hourglass shape. And when I look at Jibin, suit, all these suits are, okay, no. I like Jibin's suit, and I like Vicky's suit. There are some adjustments I would make, but Jibin's suit color is really pretty. So what do I think when I look at Jibin? I think great hourglass shape, but we're losing this glute, and Mengru has a lot of glute. There's not something missing in that front pose for me. So that's why I have Jibin in third over Vicki. Better hourglass, closer to the criteria in my opinion. Maybe she's a little bit tighter than Vicki, but the hourglass is what sells it for me. And then when I look at the back pose, did I just pull anything up that I doxed myself with? Okay. And then when I look at the back pose, who do I think has the best back pose in the show? Vicki or Mengru? I think Vicki or Mengru. Jibin, she's just losing some glute for me. I think that Vicki has the best balance of fullness between upper and lower body, but only when it comes to glutes. I don't see any hamstrings. So that's what, there's a tiny bit, but she's just less complete from the back, even though she has like the most bubbly proportions or bubbly muscle bellies, and the proportion of her glutes to her shoulders, it matches really well, really, really well. And then Asong, she just loses it in the back pose for me a little bit because she looks pretty shallow through the glutes. Great shape, but looks a little bit shallow, and these arms are posed a little bit too hard. So when I look at the back pose, I have it among Mengru, Vicki, and Jibin. Jibin, I think, has great and similar pop and projection in her back pose. So I would say that I like Jibin's conditioning the most, but she loses it in these upper glutes, and Mengru has fuller, rounder glutes. So from the back, I would have it 1, 2, 3, 4. The reason I would have Asong in third place, even though I think Vicky's back pose is a little bit superior to hers, is because she has all the lines that I want to see, and it looks like muscularity across her physique is all the same. Whereas Vicky's, we lose it from the tie-ins down. I don't see much shape or development. So yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now what would I like? If Jibin had fuller glutes, I think she wins the show, because from the front, she has everything. It's just this upper outer glute. And I'll go into some things that I think she could change with her front pose that would give more of a shape to her glute and more of a complete look. But would it have won her the show? I don't know. Mengru looked really, really good. So I don't think Jibin wins, even if she does make these changes. She might. But Mengru has more full muscle. She has more dense muscle. Jibin has a lot of fullness in these shoulders and density there, but less muscularity in the lower body. Okay, so those are my initial thoughts for when I see comparison photos. So now let's go into individuals. Mengru, let's pull up her look. Oh my god, do you love that or what? This is so cunty. Oh, speaking of, apology tour. I referred to someone as cunty in the video I did with Chelsea the other day, and there was some confusion. Cunty is a compliment. um, I'm queer, and that's just like one of the highest compliments in the queer community. So if you ever hear me say that someone is cunty or sickening, then it's a good thing. That's like the if I were gonna say something mean, I would say it in a nicer way. If I thought someone looked like they were a bitch, I wouldn't say they were cunty. I would say they don't look like they have a good vibe. That's what I would say. Okay. Apology tour over. It was a one city stop. Okay, so I was gonna pull up her other photos. Did I just exit out that other photo when I got distracted with my apology tour? Okay, so there is her photo. And then let's look at her when she got second at the Wanji Pro. And let's see what she has changed. Okay. So let's move my big fat face out of the way. Okay. See, it's like I'm there with her. Okay, I'm gonna leave my picture there. Okay, I don't know why it's so funny. Okay. So, sorry, it's cracking me up. Okay. So the suit, I would like her to change her suit. I don't like when there are like, studded black stones on there. I don't know. I mean, not black, but like dark red. So, sorry. Okay. So, she was much fuller than she was at Hwanji, which was just a week ago, 2 weeks ago. Yeah, looked way fuller in the legs than she did, way fuller in her legs here than she did at this show. And her upper body looks like, okay, I just went to a different photo, I think. Let me pull it up again. Okay. Okay. What am I doing, you guys? What am I doing? Okay, there's that, and there's that. I got too distracted with my little jokes. Okay. So here are the front poses. Oh, that's the same show. Jeez, you guys, I need to get it together. Oh, is this it? No, that's the same photo. Oh my god. Okay, wait. So she's fuller. Oh no. She's fuller this time. All my antics, they caught up with me. Okay. Here she is at Wanji, and then here she is at Monsterzym. Okay, this is what I want. Okay, there we go. So, she is fuller at this show than she was at this show, and what else did she change? That's the main thing I'm seeing in the front pose. I would like her to wear a different suit. I don't love the stoning on this suit. Okay, well, that was all kind of for nothing because I barely even said anything about the front pose. Okay, looking at her back pose. Oh, there are probably some things I think she could improve about her front pose, so I'll get that in a second. But looking at the back poses, I think that the main differences are, okay, hair. She didn't have a curl in her hair. I think straight hair looks great, and she looked fuller in the glutes, and her suit, she looks like she has more arch in her back at this show than she did at the Hwanji Pro. So you can see that her glutes are kind of like a little bit flat up here, but now they look way round, and the suit was covering a little bit more, it looks like, but I think she arched her back more. You can tell by seeing a little more wrinkling in the low back there as opposed to this photo from a couple weeks ago or last week. Her glutes look much rounder at the top, and we get a sharper tie-in, so she probably came in a little tighter as well. But yeah, her glutes are like night and day between these two shows because of the amount of arch in your back. So it's very important to work on your low back mobility so you can have like the right amount of arch to complement your specific physique. The arms are still bugging me a little bit. I would like her to straighten them slightly because it looks like her shoulders don't really have that much pop from the back, and I think part of it is that her elbows are pointing out. So yeah, I would like her to straighten her elbows a little bit and then like open up her chest so that we kind of spread her lats and spread her shoulder width and get more roundness and pop in the shoulder here. Because if you, okay, I'm gonna get rid of this photo. If you look at, God, I did it again. Okay, if you look at her front pose, she does have a lot of fullness to her shoulders. She has a lot of fullness to her shoulders, but in her back pose, you don't see that as much. And this shoulder looks a little bit stronger and fuller than the other shoulder. It's kind of minor, but this arm is also straighter than this arm. So that's why she's getting more of the pop here. So that just goes to show you when her arm is a little bit straighter, you get better fullness in the shoulder. So this shoulder looks a lot fuller than the left shoulder. So if she could match how her arms are, how her elbows are really, because her hands look like they're in the same place. The bracelets are level to each other. It looks like this elbow is pointing more at the judges. It's right there, whereas this one is pointing off to the side. So if she could get her elbows in the right place, that would help her back pose. She still won the show, so it's not that big of a deal. And this is not abnormal, especially because when you open up in your front pose, then this shoulder is always coming around. Like it has to really round so you can see this shape. And I think that's why her elbow is drifting out, because her shoulder blade is a little more lax there because of the mobility she has when she does her front pose. So yeah, that's what I think there. So what could she improve for the Olympia? More glute, because she still is a little bit flat. That's honestly rude to say, because she has very full, beautiful glutes. More fullness in this upper outer glute. So if I were her, I would maybe, if she could come to the US and do a show like Pittsburgh or a show like New York to see where she stacks up, then like against people who are, because the US has it's not that the US superior. I don't think that at all. But the US has more competitors who are in that top 15 at the Olympia. So if she could get compared against them and like maybe get some eyes on her, I think that would help her. I'm sure it's incredibly expensive and like difficult to get a visa and like, travel that quickly. But it would help her out to do a show like that. So if she could do like, we got Pittsburgh, New York is in a few weeks. And then what are some other big shows? What comes after? Like even a Legion, which is at the end of May. Like Legion usually attracts people, but that show's usually in like September or August. This year it's in May. But if she could just get to a show soon, so she can get out of prep soon. If she get to a show in the US soon, get compared against people, like a competitive lineup, then that would be good. And then she could take off like a fair amount of time before the Olympia, put on some size, and then come see where she stands at the Olympia. So that would be like in a perfect world what she should do. If she's not able to do that, then we can just tell visually working on her upper glutes will help her shape. Working on some mobility in the back will help her shape. So if she could do those two things, if coming to the US is not an option, if she could stop now, take time off, and just improve for the Olympia, that would set her up to be in a very good position. So if I were her, that's what I would do. And then the US, I would have the makeup be more close to the tan. In Asia, it doesn't really matter because everyone kind of does that, but in the US, it will hurt her if her glam is not similar to the top 15. Again, not because the US is superior, I don't believe that at all, but because that's just kind of what is more standard here. Okay, so moving on to Asong. So Asong's a natural athlete. She won first at the natural Monsterzym last year in November. And so she is that qualifies her for the Ben Weeder. So I wonder if she will come do the Ben Weeder here. That would be, it is here. So I wonder if she will come do the Ben Weeder. That would be amazing. But she's placing like second and third against open competitors. Not to say that like Mengru is for sure on something, but like, it's likely that most people in the open are on something. Okay, looking at Asong's, let's pull up her back pose too. I love Asong's look and stage presence. The hair kind of depends on the lighting, at least in photos. Maybe in person it's pretty consistent with like how good it looks. But this hair can be a little bit harsh on stage, and it's just dull because it's literally like a silvery gray. So that, especially against this like light pink suit, I do not love the light pink suit. Let's look at what other colors she's worn. I think like a purpley color. Yeah, okay, purple. This suit, it's more saturated, so like this pops on her much better than this light pink does. Obviously, she's not fully posed in this photo, but like you can just see it warms her entire look. Even though purple is a cool tone, it still warms her look. So looking at Asong, yeah, okay. So great conditioning. In the past, I have suggested she come in tighter. This front pose is excellent. She could probably turn her, so she's less opened up here than she was in the comparison photos, and maybe that was just the comparison photo that I looked at that she was more opened up. Let me just double check, because why would I say that and then not just pull it up? You tell me. Okay, so she did have better hourglass. Okay, so the thing missing for her is the upper outer glute. So I still think Mengru wins, even if she is in a better front pose than she is in the first one I showed you. Yeah, she loses some of that glute and doesn't have quite as much hamstring. Mengru isn't showing a ton of hamstring, but she has a lot of really great fullness. So I think Asong was a little bit too hard, but she can't necessarily come in softer because she still needs more size and she will look too soft. At least that's what I think. Okay, so pulling up her pictures again. Hair, it looks a little messy. I want it to like all be together, especially because she doesn't have like that many extensions in, if any. So it's looking pretty sparse. So I'm okay with her having just this amount of hair, but I want it to all be grouped together so it looks more cohesive and polished. Because yeah, it just looks a little bit too piecey. So I either want more hair, or I want it to be more uniform. And she can start with it being more uniform because extensions are, expensive and like can be a little bit of, a pain if they aren't like cut to the right length for your, but you get it. It's just easier to do natural if possible, but not everyone can do that because most people don't have like horse thick hair. Okay, so her front pose, I don't love the suit, like I said, so the purple I think is better. Also, it looks like it's not fitting her quite right. Like this cup is traveling up. I want it to be more uniform across the rib cage. But really great fullness. This is seriously a killer front pose. I want the hand to drop a little lower because it's at the smallest part of her waist currently. And this shadow, this is probably just a photo thing, but this shadow makes it look like her abs are like coming out a little bit, even though I don't think they are. So yeah, move the hand. But the front pose it's excellent. She could have more angle in this toe, and I think that would give her better shape to the leg, because right now it looks pretty linear, and lean, but in like a not poppy way. So if she angled her toe a little more at the judges, like toe here, big toe here, instead of over here, then I think she would get more shape to her quad and hamstring without sacrificing much glute. But that's just a change we would have to see her try. And then in her back pose, her elbows are pointed so far back that we're losing some of this lat. She still has good hourglass shape even with the elbows like that, but I would like her to straighten her arms slightly and bring them in further by like a half inch or an inch on her legs. That way it doesn't look as forced and we get more streamlined hourglass shape. The cut of the suit bottoms I think is great. Was everyone's number covering their glute like that? Because I don't love that. She's a little flat in here on the glute, which just means she needs more glute. So that kind of is something that will separate a first place from a second place. So just needs more projection and fullness in the glutes. And she might be arching a little bit too hard, or like bending her knees a little bit too much, because we're seeing a lot of this adductor and it's flattening out her hamstring. So like the more stretched something is, the flatter it's going to be. Like your bicep, when it's like this, like it's really round, but when it's stretched it becomes flat. And right now, since she's pushing her knees further forward, then it's like flattening out her hamstring, as opposed to like if she were standing up straighter, she would get more roundness. That's not a great example, but you get what I mean. The glaze looks a little extreme, but I'm okay with it. And more smiling. I hate to say it, but more smiling. Okay. Was I going to say anything else about her? She smiled more at this show. Was I going to say anything else? I think that's all I have to say. Let's look at when she won them. Okay, this suit color is also great. And then let's see if she's ever angled her toe more. Okay, she didn't do it at that show. But I have been wrong about her before. I said she was face too straight on, but it turns out it was just the photo I was looking at. Okay, this is a better angle for her. No, it's the same. It's the same. The lighting on the picture is just prettier. Okay. Or the suit really makes the saturation look more even. Okay, so looking at third place, Vicki got third. Okay. Vicky got third. So, okay, so I was wrong when I was talking earlier. So I probably would have had Jibin in third. Oh no. Do you see my little mouse is booting? Okay, so Vicky got third. You guys were probably going crazy when I was saying she got fourth earlier. Okay, so here's her front pose, and understandably so. I should have done my research. Okay, so front pose and back pose. So hair, it's a little, maybe it's humid, like, and that's what's going on, but like the hair looks a little bit messy to me. The length is good. The wave is looks a little bit messy. So I still think the same thing. Leaning too far forward, hand is still covering the center of her waist, which is the smallest part of her waist, so it makes it look thicker. So I would bring the hand down right here. So she's never really changed her front pose. I would love to see her change her front pose. She's probably not getting feedback on it, which, you know, or she is and she's just not listening to it. The suit I think could fit better, even though I do like the color. Like, I want the cup to cover a little bit more, be closer together. Yeah, that's all I would change there. And just stand up taller. She's always tilted forward, so I want her to stand up taller. And she's been doing Olympia before, I think more than once. So she like has a great look and a very competitive look. But those are okay, she's been there at least once, but maybe she was under a different name another time she went. Okay, so oh, and Mengru. I wanted Mengru to bring her arm in closer still. So that's what I wanted to say. Okay, yeah, if she could bring it in tighter to her waist or tighter to her glute, that's what I would like. Like Asong. See this great shape and taper she gets into her waist because of how close her glute is, or her hand is to her glute? That's what I want Mengru to do. Okay, we're bouncing around because that is my MO. Okay, so yeah, also bring her arm closer to the body. It makes her shoulder look small, but from the back, she looks like she has really round, full shoulders. So yeah, bring the arm closer, stand up taller, different suit top. And I want more size in the legs. Her leg just looks very small. So I want more size like in her, if she because she has more size in her quads here, so if she's angled her knee in, like I said in my last video, I think that would change her look, and she might even place higher. I also want more hamstrings. I don't really see any from the front. I see a lot of quad heaviness, and I don't really see any from the back. There's a little bit, but not much. Also, I think from her pose, she has an imbalance in her glutes. Her glutes slope downward, so maybe some body work to work out like the tightness in her low back here. Maybe that would help, and like in her hip. But yeah, those are the main things I want to see from her. Arm closer, hips level, hand lower, more hamstring development. So 3 of those things she could fix next weekend. One of those things, adding more muscle, she needs time to fix. And presentation stuff, hair and makeup. Okay. And then in 4th place, we have Jibin. And by the way, Vicki, I love Vicki's look. Like, I love Vicki's. She's beautiful. She has great stage presence. Her shape is crazy, but there are some easy things she could fix to do better. All the stuff I say is just because I think that they are like, you know, cheating themselves out of getting a better placing. Okay. Front pose for Jibin. So you know I love Jibin. In 2022, she got 15th at the Olympia. And then let's look at this back pose. Has she only been there? Okay, well that one isn't pictured. But if we look up Park and then Jibin. Okay. Is this gonna show us where she got? Okay, yeah. So in 2022, she got 15th at the Olympia. This was a fierce look. She's definitely put on size since then, but still needed more upper outer glute. And then did she go to the Olympia before that? Okay, no, she went pro in 2020. Okay, so she's been in the Olympia a couple times. Okay, so looking at Jibin, this suit, really pretty. I love this suit. I also love the blue that she wore in 2022. And I think she could have gotten a higher place if she has had more glute and maybe more definition in her legs. So Mengru had a lot of definition all throughout her entire frame. Let's just look at her front pose again so we can kind of compare these two. Okay, so there is Mengru. Mengru has more definition in this back leg, in this front leg with this hip detail that extends further, like closer to that mid leg instead of Jibin, which is just like to the end of her glute. And more shape even in her calves than Jibin has. And then if we look at the back pose, and the reason I pull this up is because Jibin has what it takes to do well at the Olympia if she just puts the size on her legs. So I want to see her go to the Olympia again, but I want to see her with more glutes. So in the back pose, I think she has the best upper body in the top four. In her back pose, like, this is perfect posing. It looks very relaxed. Great fullness, great matching of width to the lower body, except she needs more size on the upper glutes. But great posture. She's not like pushed forward too far or leaning back too far. Great amount of bend in the knees. She just doesn't have the same roundness up top that Mengru does, but I think everything else, or the same amount of hamstring development or calves, but I think this is like very bikini, and I would love to see her just put on the size needed. Okay, okay, looking at her front and back pose. Oh, did I get rid of it? Oh, here it is. Okay, you guys are probably screaming at the computer all the time. Okay, looking at her front and back pose, hair, perfect. See, this is a good example of like not having a ton of hair extensions in, but still like looking very polished and sleek. I would like her hair off her front shoulder in the front pose. Makeup is really pretty. It is similar to the tan color. Tan might be a little bit light, but you know. So yeah, I want to see more definition here. Want to see more definition here. If she could angle her toe more at the judges so her knee drifts inward a little bit. And the calves are not really developed at all. I would like to see more calves because that just gives a more complete look to the entire physique. Front pose, bring her arm in tighter to her waist because we're losing some shoulder and it makes her arm look similar thickness and width to her shoulder. So bring that in, straighten the arm. Suit is really pretty. It could probably be a little bit higher in the front here. So if she could pull it up in the front and down in the back, and then it would be a little more heart-shaped in the back, which might give her a better shape to her glutes. But yeah, the hand placement is pretty good. Yeah, she just needs more definition and more than anything, more size in her glutes, maybe a little bit of hamstring, but upper glute and calf are really what I would work on. Okay, and then in fifth place, we have Amanda. Is this Amanda? Yes. Okay, so we have Amanda. So what do I think separated Amanda and Jibin at this show? They weren't like super tight in placings. It was more of a fight between Jibin and Vicki, but what do I think? So looking at Amanda, like I said before, her back pose is incredible. More upper outer glute would serve her, but also her suit bottoms go really low in the front, so I'd like her to bring those up in the front, down in the back. Then she would get more heart shape. It would cover up like these little indents where it looks a little bit shallow, like where her back is starting to attach to her low or to her upper glute. So if she could bring the bottoms down in the back and up in the front, she would get more heart shape, and that would make her glutes look a lot fuller. And then she would have like probably the most balanced back pose in the show. She has a lot of fullness in her shoulders, a lot of fullness in her glutes and hamstrings, not seeing any detailing in her hamstrings like we do with our winner, which I will show you. Okay, here is our winner. So we see like deep indents in the hamstrings there. Amanda has like pretty perfect conditioning. If she just pulled her suit bottoms down, I think she would have the best back pose in the show. She might need to arch her low back a little more, but I'm hesitant to say that because she has a shorter torso. So if she does that, then it could make her waist look wider in the back. And it could make her look imbalanced between top and bottom because she'd be like short up top and long on bottom because she has longer legs than torso. So yeah, if she has made the suit bottom adjustment, I would be thrilled. Tan is also, it's pretty light. Okay, so that is her back pose. And then okay, here's the front pose. So this is the best her front poses looked in my opinion. Same thing, I don't love the suit. It looks like a similar suit, the same suit maker probably to Mengru. I don't love when I can see the red like tie straps. I want it to disappear and really give me that illusion of just being like held up by the jewels or whatever. Yeah, I think her pink suit was better. I'll show you the pink suit. And yeah, it looks like everyone does have their little number on their glute, but hers doesn't obscure her glute as much as it did on Asong. So the arm could be a little bit tighter to the frame. This is almost making her look a little bit skinny because the arm is so far out. This is also the tightest she's ever been, which she needed to do. So I'm glad she came in tighter. But if she could bring the arm in, then I think that would give more fullness to the shoulder and to the arm, like at least the illusion of it, because it'd be closer, which would, frame her better. Tightest her waist has ever been. Her foot is still horizontal, which shows us a lot of the leg width from the side, which is good in wellness, but in bikini, I want more of an angle in that toe so we get to see that like beautiful like tear dropping into the quad and roundness in the hamstring. But she got significantly tighter than she was in the past, so I'll pull up a past photo. Hair, I want a little more hair. But yeah, she looks bottom heavy because she's showing us so much width in this leg. So if she could angle her knee in, angle this toe out, I think she would have a more complete front pose. In the back pose, she could probably straighten her arms a little bit. Having them bent up like this makes her look even shorter on the top. So I think that would like lengthen her physique in a good way. But yeah, really great back pose. She looks flatter than normal. Like I'm seeing more vascularity here, which is hardly any vascularity at all. It's one vein. Like we saw people like place well yesterday or 2 days ago with more hardness in their upper body. She could also open her chest, same thing, like spread her lats a little bit so we get some more tapering into her waist, because right now it looks pretty up and down in the upper body. But let me pull up her front and back poses from when she did her last show, which was the Hwanji Pro. Yeah, okay, it was Hwanji. So, oh, okay, that's the wrong person. Okay, this is Taiwan. She did Taiwan. So yeah, Taiwan was a few weeks ago, so she's had a fair amount of time to tighten up since then, and she really did. Okay, so this is, yeah, it's like a pinky red. So there's her front pose a few weeks ago to now. So this shape, much more flattering than this shape. This is also like not touching her frame, like her boob is pressing this out. So yeah, waist is like way tighter, is like sucked in. Legs, yeah, everything is tighter, but she had better fullness in the upper body here, and that's gonna happen when you get tighter. Like you're gonna lose some of that fullness, but I think she could have had this tightness and then filled out from here. Yeah, and she's showing more clavicle width. I would like more clavicle width here as well. In her back pose, so this was her back pose at that show. It's the same back pose, so she looks like she leaned forward just as much, elbows are bent just as much, not spreading her lats. Yeah, this suit was just better. It's more heart-shaped. That's what I would like to see here. This goes straight across, which takes away from like that curviness we want to see. Even though when we get really lean, we like are just kind of by definition no longer curvy. If you have like more muscle to be building. But the illusion with where the suit sits would help with that like curvy factor, because that is kind of part of bikini. Yeah, she was fuller here. Again, she lost more body fat. So if she adjusted the suit bottoms, I think that would make a big difference for her. So yeah, that is my take. Let me know what you think. If you have any questions, let me know. If you need help with posing, let me know. Thanks so much for watching the video with me and Chelsea. I had so much fun, so I'm excited to have her as my recurring guest. And yeah, that's all. Oh, what's going on this weekend? So Pittsburgh is in like 2 weeks. Okay, pro schedule, bikini. Okay, so this is how you find like schedules, by the way. You go to IFBBpro.com, schedule, find bikini. And then our shows that we have this coming weekend are Emerald Cup, that's a Masters show, so I won't be doing anything for that one. Florida, also a Masters show. Is it Masters and Open or just Masters? Portugal is a natural show, so that's cool. California supplement show. Okay, so we'll be able to look at that one. Yeah. Okay, so that's it. Mainly, is Open also going to be at this? It looks like no. Okay, yeah. So, IFBB Pro Bikini Masters. Okay, yeah. So, the only one that we have that I will probably be doing anything for is the Spain show, right? Yeah, okay. Spain. California supplement. Okay, so if you need anything, like I'm your supervisor, let me know if you need anything. Okay, bye.